go and shove the humeral head backwards. That's anterior posterior drawer.
For anterior drawer, you said that you, instead of grabbing the scapula,
I use my pads over the clavicle to push back while I pull the humerus head forward.
okay.
And then for posterior, I grab the scapula and push it. So, I told you guys that posterior internal impingement is almost just like impingement. And impingement is the same as apprehension. So first off, what is posterior internal impingement?
Scanning.
Does that involve a subset?
It is the thing I told you about where it involves the undersurface of the undersurface. I think I'm gonna have numbers here. This involves the undersurface. 316, 317, somewhere around there. Posterior internal, the picture is on 318. The test is on 317. And he doesn't tell you, it says posterior internal impingement, and then he doesn't tell you till the very end of that how you do the test. So right above impingement relief, he finally tells you how to do the test. So, what is posterior internal impingement? The picture is on 318. And so that is where the undersurface of the supraspinatus and infraspinatus are getting pinched against the labrum and the back of the glenoid. So that picture is on 318. It's kind of a weird picture. Because our regular impingement we call outlet impingement. Because that's outlet impingement is your supraspinatus is getting rubbed on the top of it, right? And this one, your supraspinatus is getting rubbed on the undersurface of it, and probably the infraspinatus too.
So they're getting rubbed by what?
The glenoid and the labrum when you're in the cocking position. They're pinching, and where is it? Posteriorly. Pinching against the labrum. Pinching against the labrum and glenoid on the undersurface of the muscles instead of on the top surface when you're in the cocking position. So when you're back here, undersurface of those muscles when you're in the cocking position. All right, you ready?
Let's get it.
So, tells you right there how to do it, right there at the end of it. Where are they? So, you take their shoulder from anywhere from 90 to 110 degrees. Scoot out a little bit. And, so this is almost just like apprehension or impingement, right? You take them to here, but you go back 20 degrees, and you maximally laterally rotate. So what position is this?
Cocking position.
Hey, you put them in the cocking position. So it's another one that you're going to kind of do it all at the same time.
Wait, can you do it again and explain the degrees?
So anywhere from like 90 to 110. So 90 would be here of abduction. 90 to 110. Here to up a little higher. Drop it back 20 degrees. Maximally laterally rotate. Hey, what position are we in? Cocking. Right? So, who gets this?
Throwers.
Pitchers? Who else?
Volleyball.
Volleyball?
Water polo, like overhead sports.
Water polo? probably not swimmers. They don't do that where where you're twisting your body and having it slam back in that cocking position. They're controlled. They don't get all the way back like that.
What about quarterbacks?
Quarterbacks might get it. It's usually people that throw lots and lots. They probably don't throw enough. Pitchers mostly. Probably hitters next. Volley and spikers. Even water polo probably doesn't. They don't throw that much, but okay. So throwers. I guess if you worked with track, javelin might get it. Your javelin people might get it. Okay, so that's posterior internal impingement. Impingement on the undersurface of the muscles instead of impingement on the top surface of the muscles. I'll do it one more time. So, what do? So, I was already doing apprehension here, right? And now I just take them up a little bit more, take them back, and laterally rotate. So I can do it almost just the same time I was doing everything else. So this is apprehension, or it's impingement, depending on which one I think. This is posterior internal impingement. Got it?
It's a little stretch.
Nice little stretch. Okay. And so the only one I didn't show you there was Rockwood. So let's see. Let's pull this his way a little. Well, scoot your butt back a little. They're seated for this. Back.
This way?
Yep. So Rockwood, I very simply, this is, okay, remember, I don't know if there's any pictures here. Remember when we talked about, where's the instability? Remember when we talked about the different ligaments? Remember when we so this is on 307. Remember when we talked about the different ligaments of the different parts of the glenohumeral ligament? I'll just spit it out yet. We talked about the different parts of the glenohumeral ligament. This is simply a way of checking those different parts. And you could also compare it to impingement. So very simply, you do at 0, laterally rotate. That shouldn't bother them. Now, if they got that top part of the GH ligament, then that might bother them at these lower degrees, but that shouldn't bother them. So this is kind of ruling out things. 0 really shouldn't bother somebody when you're down here, okay? So you do this at 0, then you do it at 45. Maybe it bothers them a little, probably shouldn't bother them a whole lot at 45. 90, what's going to happen?
Might start feeling a little pain.
That bothers them. 90 bothers them. And then you do 120. So 120 is going to bother who the most? People with what? Impingement. So Rockwood is just simply taking them, laterally rotating them at 0, 45, 90, and 120. So, all your anterior instability things, you're always doing what? Laterally rotating them. All right, so posterior. You good? And then what was Dugas? What do you ask them to do? Dugas?
Put their hands to their opposite shoulder.
Touch their opposite shoulder, let their elbow drop. That's a check to see if they're reduced. If they can't drop, they aren't fully reduced. All right, let's do posterior. Lay on your back again. All right, so posterior drawer, I already showed you. We're good, right? Posterior apprehension, what do I do?
Internally.
I take them into adduction and internal rotation. Take them into adduction and internal rotation. What happens?